What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. So, we're talking about the heavyweights tonight. Joe Joyce versus Christian Hammer. Salute to both men for coming to the fight and, bringing what they had. Christian Hammer is a journeyman. I don't think anybody really expected him to do any better than what he did. And, you know, Joe Joyce gets the fourth round TKO. Now, I want to focus on Joe Joyce. Let me just break some things down about Joe Joyce. Most of the time, fighters are known for their hand speed, their combination ability, their footwork and things of that nature, defensively sound, you know, excellent counter punches, things like that. Joe Joyce, his attributes is his ability to take a punch and his constant pressure and his stamina. That's what stands out about him. Okay. It's not that he has so much of a great jab. He just constantly throws it. He works off of it. But let me just say this about Joe Joyce. What he's doing, what he's been doing, and what he's doing. These crop of heavyweights that's out here, it's been working for him. And it may continue to work. That's yet to be seen. But let me say this. I love the fact that Joe Joyce, he comes to fight. Um I love his relentlessness, how he just constantly comes in, just pressure, pressure, pressure. Okay. And people will consider fights with Joe Joyce exciting when they're going back and forth. But let me just say this, and I'm gonna be brutally honest because that's me, and that's what I do. And I don't have any filter with how I say what I'm gonna say. Joe Joyce, with his pressure, with his relentlessness and his stamina, it's been working for him this far. As he goes up in competition, we'll see if it continues to work for him. Along with his ability to take a great shot, his relentlessness, how he gets rocked, but he continues to keep coming forward. He continues to keep bringing the pressure, and he will keep coming until he gets you out of there. That's his whole goal. Okay, he's like a Terminator. You just keep breaking him down, breaking parts off him, but he just keeps coming. Now, all that being said, I don't believe in no goddamn boogeyman. I don't believe in no superhuman fighters and guys that's just you can't hurt them. No, bullshit. There's always ways to break someone down. It's just, do we have anybody out here right now that can do it? Right? That's what it comes down to. Whether Father Time kicks in, whatever it may be, maybe in their prime, yeah, maybe in their primes, they could certain guys you just couldn't touch them, right? But let's just be honest and let me say this. Joe Joyce is too goddamn easy to hit. Joe Joyce has zero defense. Joe Joyce gets hit with everything. Jab, hook, uppercut, straight punch, body. I mean, he's there to get hit with everything. When he throws his jab, you see him throw it, he lunges in, he reaches, and he's wide open. And with the guys he's been in there so far, he's been able to get away with not really being punished by it. I saw the fight when he fought Usyk and Usyk beat him. And Usyk throws combinations. This is my whole thing with Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce, he gets cracked with one good hard shot, and it's like he's not getting hit with combinations. All Joe Joyce needs to, if you are in shape to fight 12 rounds, use your head. There's ways to fight lateral movement, sidestep and throw your shots, tie up when you need to, get up, whatever. However it has to go. Joe Joyce has clumsy feet, he just comes in. He doesn't move his head. He just comes in a straight line with his hands up and he jab, and he lunges, he reaches. He does not have a strategy of moving his head, sidestep, and make you miss, make you pay. It's just, I'm going to come in, take 3 or 4 shots to land mine, and try to wear you down, wear you down, wear you down, wear you down. And then once he, it gets to the point where you start to get tired, his stamina, he's still fresh. A combination puncher will give Usyk fits. Simple. You don't have to be super fit. You just have to be in shape. That's one of his best attributes. Again, his stamina, he's in shape. He comes in shape. I think a guy like Frank Sanchez will box circles around Joe Joyce. I can see Frank Sanchez making him miss, countering, making him pay, banging him to the body, banging him upstairs, downstairs, moving, slipping, getting out the way of the shots. I can see him boxing circles around him. And a guy like that is pretty much, again, as long as you are in shape, because he's going to come with the pressure. But if you tagging him, he's getting hit with combinations. It's different when you get rocked with one good shot. But when you start getting hit with combinations, it's going to slow you down. And even if you don't get knocked out, even if you make it to the final bell, it's going to be clear that you lost that fight. Because those combination punches, I've been saying this for the longest. And these heavyweights, they're not good combination punchers. They throw one shot at a time, one hard shot, and every shot that they throw, it's not swift, it's not fluid. Understand? It's just one big bomb, one big bomb, one big bomb, one big. That's their combination. That's their way of throwing combinations. They don't throw fluid combinations. They don't mix it up head body with it's just one big shot at a time. And that's the division that he's in. This is why his style is working. But a guy like Frank Sanchez, stylistically, I feel like is all wrong for Joe Joyce. And that's the kind of guy that is probably going to take to beat him. I don't understand how a trainer train your fighter and don't, hey, look, you got to put combinations together on this guy swiftly. But if your fighter doesn't have that ability, then Joe Joyce doesn't have anything to worry about, to be honest with you. Now, I know a lot of people say, imagine if Wilder catch him. Yeah, maybe. Because the thing with Wilder is, Wilder can time him and land that right hand. But the problem with Wilder is, after Wilder lands the right hand, everything other than that right hand is windmill, wild shit. That's not going to help him. Because if he doesn't knock Joe Joyce out, he's going to get tired. Joe Joyce is going to keep walking him down, and he's going to get him out of it. If that one shot, that's the point I'm saying. Joe Joyce can take a shot. You can see it. Can he take a flush Wilder right hand? We don't know. But what if he does? That's the danger for Wilder, because Wilder's not technically sound. That's what they used to call him, Windmill Wilder, because once he starts throwing shots, he's, and if he lands that right hand and he's not getting Joe Joyce out of there, Wilder's vulnerable to get caught with shots as well. And between the two of them, Joe Joyce has better stamina than Wilder. Joe Joyce has a better chin than Wilder. But at the same time, that's the point what I'm saying. And I know people was going to say, but Wilder, because they picture the one shot, but what if it don't work? The one shot didn't get Fury out of there either. And we saw Fury get dropped before. Wilder did drop Fury, but we seen him get dropped before. So we know it's not like he got some iron chin either. But at the same time, this is what I'm saying, why Joe Joyce is successful in this era of heavyweights. Because of his style, what he does, and what's coming back at him is just one punch at a time. Or even, like I said, when it is more than one, it's not coming fluidly. There's pauses in between them shots, and I think that, I know a guy like Frank Sanchez will give him nightmares, man. It's because he throws combinations. He'll get in, get out, he moves, and Joe Joyce doesn't cut the ring off. He just follows you around the ring like a mummy. That's what he look. How the mummy used to just walk up and follow him. That's how he fights. He just come at you, walk, and he gets hit with everything. Frank Sanchez, I don't know that he gets him out of there. Maybe he doesn't knock him out, but I think he outboxes him and clearly wins a unanimous decision. And the only way I can see Joe Joyce beating Frank Sanchez is if Frank Sanchez gets tired and Joe Joyce knocks him out. I don't see him winning rounds, like outscoring him and outpointing him. And I don't know if Frank Sanchez, like how good his gas tank is. And well, I do. Well, we seen him against FA. We seen him fight, and we seen him, go the distance. But what I'm saying, the pressure is different. FA is a different type of fighter from Joe Joyce, and pretty much, I don't see him giving Frank Sanchez problems, other than if he can get him tired. Other than that, because honestly, I see Frank making him miss and making him pay throughout the fight. And Joe Joyce is too easy to hit. Frank Sanchez is technically sound. And I believe somewhere down the line, some trainer out there should have a fighter in their stable right now that they're going, one of these trainers are going to look and say, man, you know what? Put your combination together on this guy. Move your head, because he's throwing that jab. Keep your head moving. Don't give him a clear target. You already know Joe Joyce is so predictable, man. This constant same thing, jab, right hand comes in, jab. The only time he really tries to he put punches together slowly. And the only time he really tries to load up upstairs and downstairs is when he catch you on the ropes. Otherwise, it's the same thing, jab. He kind of like pause with his jab, pause with it. Then he lunges in with the right hand. He literally opens up, and then all of this is open. And Christian Hammer was catching him with some shots, but Christian Hammer, like I said, was catching with one shot at a time. We know Joe can take a big single shot and getting hit with combinations. Look, Usyk is not a big puncher, and Usyk beat him. And if you look at Usyk, Joe Joyce then versus and now, he's the same fighter, man. He's the same fighter. But his style, that's his style. But I just don't see him get into a fight with a combination puncher that's in shape. And, him really being able to do anything with them other than just try to wear them out. And that's not going to work against someone that can really box, that can put punches together. And, you can see Joe Joyce is super slow, man. This is why most of the people thought Daniel Dubois was going to beat him, because Daniel Dubois is explosive, even though, and he tries to get you out of there. But, Joe Joyce is not a pushover. But stylistically, what I'm telling you guys, a combination puncher that can move. Now, if you throw combinations, but you flat-footed like a Andy Ruiz, yeah, he'll still get in there and have and give you a good scrap, because neither one of you got good footwork. But if you can move, make him come in, you jabbing, snapping them shots to his body upstairs, you catch him with combinations, spin around him, he's not going to be able to land his shots. And he's gonna keep coming. That's the thing about him. He's gonna keep coming, but he comes in, and the longer the fight goes, it's not like his defense is going to get any better, right? He just keeps coming, and he's going to get easier and easier to hit as it is. He's already super easy to hit. So that, to me, and you remember who's saying this, right? That style that Joe Joyce has, a guy like Frank Sanchez will be a nightmare for him. I can't say much about Jared Anderson because I haven't seen enough of him. I don't know. I don't know if he's ready at this moment for Joe Joyce. But you got to understand, too, Joe Joyce is, 36, 37 now? So time is not on his side either. That can, certain fighters may be able to surpass a certain, hey, he's, 37, 36. He may be able to go till he's 40. Who knows, right? Who knows? But at the end of the day, what I'm saying, with this crop of heavyweights, when you look at who's out there, people don't talk about Frank Sanchez because he's not really a well-known fighter. But what I'm saying is, should they make an offer to fight Joe Joyce, or should Joe Joyce and his team decide to call him out, I believe that's going to be the guy. I believe Frank Sanchez will beat Joe Joyce. Now, like I said, Nothing's etched in stone. As long as he's in shape, because Joe Joyce, he has decent power. For his size, he's not a big puncher. He has weight behind his punch, but he's not, as far as punching power, he's a decent puncher. Somebody said his power is about an 8. Nah, Joe Joyce punches power from a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 7. About a 7. And this is what people don't understand. You got certain fighters that can hit you with any shot. Uppercut, hook, straight, cross, knock you out, drop you with a jab. You got certain fighters, the uppercut is lethal. Certain fighters, their left hook is killer. You understand what I'm saying? So it's different. Then you have certain fighters like Ali in his younger career was knocking people out. As he got older, it wasn't the same. He still could knock you out, but he had to wear you out the rounds, and then he gets you out of there with volume. Evander Holyfield, he wasn't the biggest puncher, but Evander Holyfield could wear you out as well. And if he didn't knock you out, he could outbox you. So when you're rating power, nah, he's no 8. He's about a 7. He's about a 7 because he has weight behind his shot. George Foreman was a heavy-handed guy, and he was throwing his punches in slow motion a lot of times. And when he tried to throw his punches fast, remember George used to put his hands out and just wing like a wind-up toy, like them toys you squeeze the leg and the upper body just moved. That's how George Foreman used to throw his shots, and leave himself wide open. But people were so busy covering up, they wasn't thinking about countering. So, but what happened when he came in there against Ali, who was a combination puncher, and what happened? It was different, and that's what I'm saying. But at this point, this was an Ali who wasn't the same. This wasn't a prime Ali. Prime Ali, he'd have boxed circles around Foreman, man. Ali was only 32 years old when he fought Foreman, but he was clearly, his better days were behind him, and he still had enough left to beat George. So this is what I mean, like when I'm looking at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is there to be hit, man. He's there to be hit. I respect what he does. I mean, that's just his style, man. So Joe Joyce is one fighter you can't even really say he has to learn how to do this and this and this, because you realize, no, man, that's just the way he fights. That's what he does. But yeah, a combination punch is going to be his kryptonite. That's the way I see it. And looking at who's out there, yeah, I think if he calls out Frank or Frank calls him out and that fight happens, I'm going with Frank to win. I mean, and I like, it's just something about Joe Joyce's style, man. Like just the fact that he's in there and he's winning, I respect that. So it's not like, oh, I want to see him lose. I want, Joe Joyce is I don't, it's like I don't really like his style, but I respect it. And watching him fight is funny because you just watch him eat these shots. He's getting hit more than he's hitting his opponent, but then all of a sudden his opponent goes down and he doesn't. And it's like, yeah, it's working for him. But what I'm saying, stylistically, I think Frank Sanchez would beat him right now. I strongly believe that. We'll see if that happens. Now, special request, let me just address something and close this video. We were talking about Anthony Joshua and Usyk, and look, for all the people that, Usyk's on a whole other planet, and Usyk's this, and then, Usyk's from fucking Earth, just like everybody else. Usyk is no genius, he's no wizard, he's a man. He's a talented boxer, and people put all this super emphasis on it, right? Like what he's doing is just unbeatable. Okay, Usyk is one of the more talented boxers in boxing and in heavyweight division. Okay, as pure boxing goes, he's probably the best pure boxer in heavyweight division. Now, if you look at Usyk versus AJ, okay, I already talked about that. Let me just say this. Anthony Joshua has to get mean in there. We already talked about, we know his confidence has to be there, okay? He has to believe in himself. He has to put his punches together, stay behind that stick, and he has to keep Usyk humble. You guys that keep talking about Anthony has to do this. Anthony Joshua's biggest downfall is his weakness in how he doesn't have that dominance. Remember when he was champion and he said, none of these heavyweights are on my level. When Dylan White pissed him off, Remember how Anthony Joshua used to stick his tongue out at you when you throw a shot? And then he hit you and catch you, and then he stick his tongue out and walk you down and get you the fuck out of there. Remember that Anthony Joshua who was cocky and wanted to, wanted to fight? That's the Anthony Joshua that you don't see. The same Anthony Joshua that went in there and was only, what 15, 16 fights in against Vladimir Klitschko, got dropped. He dropped Klitschko. Then he got dropped. He got back up, and he was telling Klitschko, if you don't finish me off, I'm going to knock you out. And he went in there, and people can hate on Anthony Joshua and Klitschko all they want, but that was one of the greatest heavyweight fights. I mean, fight was action-packed, and people act like that fight never even happened. And instead of enjoying the fight, they try to find criticism. And no. At the end of the day, he went in there and fought a guy with much more experience, and basically, was technically better than him. But AJ was able to hang in there with him and hold his own. You understand? He went in there and he won that fight. Where's that AJ at? Don't tell me nothing about Usyk's on another level and all. Usyk's out of his stratosphere and all this stupid shit. He's an anomaly. He's all this stupid shit that y'all come up with to try to make him like he's unhuman. Let me give you guys an example of something. Canelo Alvarez is smaller than Bivol. Height, reach, natural body weight. Canelo, they're not too far, but Bivol's a bigger guy naturally. Anthony Joshua, taller, longer reach than Usyk, naturally the bigger guy. Bivol is not known for having devastating power, but he's a good puncher. He punched enough to keep Canelo humble. He beat Canelo, who you guys said would have beat Usyk in a fight, and said that Canelo is God. The only thing that can beat Canelo is Father Time. You guys said that. You was ready to put him in there like, wait, so you guys really think... And remember, I made a video and said Usyk would beat the shit out of Canelo. Stop playing. Because you guys seen little clips of Canelo sparring with heavyweights, and you guys just, Canelo's on another stratosphere. Y'all said the same shit about Canelo. He's on another stratosphere. It's Canelo, then it's everybody else. Canelo's the face of boxing. Canelo's God. All of that. And Bivol beat the great Canelo Alvarez with a basic style and stuck to his game plan. He didn't do any fucking thing extraordinary. He used what I call his natural physical gifts. He used his height and reach, and he fought Canelo. I'm the big man. You're the little guy. I'm walking you down, and even if I'm on the back foot, I'm standing behind the stick, and I'm sticking to my game plan. That is what we need from Anthony Joshua. And remember, people said, right on my channel, look at the comments, Bivol ain't that guy. Bivol got nothing for Canelo. Canelo's going to beat this guy, this, that, and the third. Right? Nobody. Very few people gave him. I said if he used his natural gifts the way he's supposed to, he really should beat Canelo. But if he's going to give Canelo too much respect and he go in there and do the same thing that all the other fighters did before him, then, But I said too, what did I say? And I said what I love is his confidence. Bivol. What did he say? I don't look at Canelo like Canelo's no monster. No, he's a man like me. I know. Look at he's another fighter. He's a great fighter, but it's just another fight. That's how you're supposed to see your opponent. Not like the fanboys. The fans can, oh my God, oh Canelo, oh my God, Fury, they can do all that shit if they want. You a fighter. You're going to go in there bowing and thinking that this is Canelo. I don't care who he is. I mean, I can remember Sugar Ray Leonard when they asked him about Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. Sugar Ray Leonard picked Mikey Garcia. He had Mikey Garcia guarded really high, and Mikey Garcia was a solid fighter, no doubt. He was a good boxer. Remember when they said, "Well, Ray, why are you picking Mikey to win? What do you think why do you think he win?" What did Ray say? Because he's Mikey. Like, bottom line, he's the man. And Errol Spence went in there and outboxed him and did everything better than him. And that's a fight where Errol went there to show. He said, like you said, I could go in there and bully him and bang him up. Y'all gonna say I was too big and all that anyway. So I just wanted to show I could box. And he outboxed and he beat him in his own game. And, which by the way, for y'all you that don't know, that Mikey Garcia announced his retirement. I think he's 34 years old. Like I told people, look, man, everybody doesn't have an expiration, the same exact expiration date. There's no law or rule that says you got to retire when you're 45 or when after you just don't have it anymore. And his brother said that he wasn't really hungry anymore. He's successful outside of boxing, doing things, and his focus is not there anymore on boxing. That hunger's not there. So it was a good thing for him to do. Why stick around and just take a beatings for no reason? Just for a couple of fans to ooh and ah and say, oh, he went out on his shield. Like, man, call it a wrap, man. He, retired with 2 losses only in his career. But at the end of the day, he had a good career, man. Now, back to what I'm saying. Salute Mikey Garcia. Well, back to what I'm saying. Everybody felt like Canelo was on a whole different stratosphere. Like I said, it's Canelo, then it's everybody else. Canelo was just going to plateau by himself. And everybody said Bivol is not that guy. Right? Well, you guys was that confident that he would beat Usyk. So if you think he could beat Usyk, you think that Canelo could beat Anthony Joshua. You think he could go up and beat any heavyweight because he's Canelo. Right? And he lost to a guy that we all agreed is a basic fighter. Now, when you say basic, it doesn't mean you're not good. It's just no special effects about you. It's just you just a straight up jab, come behind the jab, just basic shit. And it worked for him. Why? Because he know how to use his reach. He knew how to throw his punches with the right speed. He was confident. This ain't the first time Canelo fought somebody bigger and taller than him. Look how fucking big Mario Barrios was to little ass Tank Davis. You understand what I mean? So you got to understand that AJ has not been using his natural gifts. And this is what Mikey Garcia is trying to tap into. Use your natural gifts, man. And what I said, AJ needs to start putting combinations together, throwing quick, 2 and 3 pieces where it's coming out of nowhere and from different angles and giving Usyk angles. Like I said, when he stepped to his left, you go to your right. You know what I mean? You pivot off, you keep that stick out, move, and you come in when you ready to punch. When you're not ready to punch, don't just stand there and let Usyk get his shit off. It's as simple as that. So as good as a fighter as Canelo is, to get outboxed by Bivol and then the excuse about him being too small, stop that shit. Because he went up and beat a fucking light heavyweight and Kovalev. Oh, but he was washed up. Oh, so now you're going to discredit Canelo for beating a washed up Kovalev. But when he beat Kovalev before he lost to Bivol, oh, he beat the great crusher. He beat Kovalev. Oh, so you guys, stop that. Bottom line, he fought a bigger, he's not, look, everybody, Smith was bigger and taller. All these guys, this Billy Joe Saunders, all these guys were bigger and taller, had a height, reach advantage, and size advantage over Canelo. And he beat them. Bivol had a game plan, he stuck to it, he fought discipline, but he was confident and he wasn't scared of Canelo. Anthony Joshua is not going to beat Usyk without being confident in himself that he can and wanting to tap in and let that dog out and say, we gonna scrap, let's go. But stick to his game plan because he's not technically better than Usyk. But he's a better fighter than Usyk if he believes in it and he could go back to what he used to do. Oh, yeah. But, of course, more polished now and stick, work behind that stick. Now, if AJ has the ability to do that, that's what we got to find out when we see the fight. That's all. But that's what I'm telling you guys. A basic boxer that sticks to his game plan can actually beat a more talented boxer when they have better physical gifts. If they were like the same exact fucking size, it would be more difficult. And remember, Anthony Joshua back in the day said, I'll lose one day. But that's what makes the great champion. See how you bounce back. Remember, he said, I'll lose one day. And I said, damn, why the fuck would you say that, man? Because if you're admitting that you're going to lose before it even happens, that's a sign of weakness. That is a sign of fucking weakness. So if you can predict that you're going to lose, well, who against who? Why would who plans to lose, right? So that his mentality, that's AJ's handicap, man. He clearly said that I'll lose one day. And as he starts talking about how Ali and different guys, 2-3-time world champions, and that's what makes a great champion. Not necessarily being undefeated makes you great or the greatest, but how you bounce back. And I like challenges. But he clearly said, I'll lose one day. And this is when he was unified champion. So this is where he needs to understand. Like if you saw the interview, and he was saying people want me to come in like Mike Tyson, and that's not who I am. No, you can't be Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's 5'10", was 215, 217. You're 6'6", 245, 250. Nobody expects you to come in like Tyson. They expect you to be more aggressive. You want to tell me a guy like Tyson Fury can walk down a puncher like Deontay Wilder, right? And all he did was got fatter, just gained more weight, and realized if I walk this guy down, he can't fight backing up. And I can lean on him, put my weight on him, get my weight behind my shots. I can get him out of there. Look at what happened. If Tyson Fury would have told himself, man, I can't go in there and walk him down. I'm not Mike Tyson. Look at what would have happened. And remember the first fight, Fury was on the back foot the whole night. And they had little times and certain spurts of times he'll kind of stand in, he was throwing his shots. He wasn't running from Wilder. He wasn't scared of Wilder. He just was trying to be cautious. But when he got dropped, it woke him up. The second time he got dropped and he realized, like, hold up, man. And from that moment is when he decided in the rematch, I'm walking his ass down. And he did it. He brutalized him in the second fight. And then he did the same thing again in the third fight. So Tyson Fury's mindset, he's looking to what do I need to do different to be successful against this guy. Not to just win, but to dominate this guy. He don't punch as hard as fucking Anthony Joshua do. And you're going to tell me, and all his success came from his movement. And he walked smaller guys down. But you look at Fury's fights. Fury like to move. And he'll get in your face and do things because he's naturally bigger than most of these guys anyway. But Anthony Joshua seemed to forget. You're the bigger guy in this fight. And regardless how big he is to Usyk, this is what I'm saying. Look at Bevo's size to Canelo. Now imagine Bevo telling himself he can't do this and that to win. No. That's my thing. He's telling himself he can't do this. Well, you already eliminate walking him down and putting pressure because you brought up Mike Tyson. It's not about you being Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's not the only guy that knew how to mix it up or wanted to come forward and walk a guy down. He's not the only guy. So even to bring up Mike Tyson, no, we don't want you to be Mike Tyson. We want you to be you. But you have to believe that you can do whatever strategy you have. It doesn't matter what Robert Garcia and the other guys showing you and training you. It doesn't matter what they tell you. If you are afraid to do it, it's not going to work. So you will be holding yourself back in that situation. So this is where you got to look at, like I said, Anthony Joshua doesn't have to learn a million different tactics and try to become a new fighter. No, he needs to understand. If you're putting together a shelf, the instructions are right there. But you're standing here just looking at it, trying to figure out where the pieces go. You are making it difficult for you, and it's going to take you so much longer. And eventually, for you to put this shelf together, you're going to have to look at the instructions and realize, well, wait, I got to do this before I do that. Read the diagram. You understand? Okay, let's put this together piece by piece properly. Not just try to freelance it and think you're going to get lucky and get it together. You can't go into a fight thinking like that, man. You have to understand, in your game plan, Usyk might do something different, right? But not really, because Usyk fights the same way all the time. It's just that he chose to fight AJ different because I think he saw AJ as weak-minded. And he felt like, I'll get him because I don't think that this guy can take my pressure. And again, let me repeat. Anytime AJ caught him flush, Usyk started hauling ass, retreating, back foot, let's move, get out of the way of danger. And then he realized, oh, okay, he doesn't have the gas tank or the heart or the IQ. One of the three or either or. he doesn't know what to do. Okay. He caught me and let me off the hook. So, you have to have a game plan. Imagine Joe Joyce walking Christian Hammer down, right? Catch him, make him go backwards, walk him down, but then when he gets in, he doesn't know what to do. He kind of stands there to wait to see what he's going to do. Then you're giving this guy what he needs. And you cooperate with him, and you're giving him too much respect. So all that, he's from another stratosphere. Go in there and beat his little ass like you're supposed to. I'm come from a different cloth, man. We don't, all that, I don't give a fuck if you Mike Tyson, Ali, whoever the fuck, Roy Jones, Marky Marciano, man, we coming to beat your ass. Ain't nobody coming in there looking at you like, oh, that's Mike Tyson. Fuck if you Mike Tyson, man. Fuck Mike Tyson. That's how you go in there. You don't go in this mother, oh, that's Mike Tyson. No, we understand you can hit. I can hit too, motherfucker. You lightning fast, I'm lightning fast. You got fast feet, I got fast feet. You can take a punch, I can take a punch. You got heart, I got heart. You bleed just like I do. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm a lion, if I'm a tiger and you a lion, it doesn't make a difference. We're going to go till one of us die. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. If you're going in there doubting yourself and already, okay, I can do this. No, you got to go in there confident. And you notice when Robert Garcia said it. He said in separate interviews, it's just the confidence he has to believe in himself. And for him to say that, he see it, but also in camp. Even though he's doing according to Robert, he's doing what Robert asked him to do and what they instruct him to do. It's probably conversations that they have where Anthony Joshua is not really saying the things that make him sound confident. It has to be. You know why I say that? Look at the interviews he's been doing. Even when he say people are saying, like pressure, come, but it's when you're in there, it's not the same. So you're admitting you have problems with believing that you can do it. Remember, he said, I'm used to fighting guys up here, but the shorter guys are always, it's always tough to fight a shorter. So it's like, AJ, listen at what you're saying. That's certain things you don't need to tell the public. That's things that fighters don't need to know about you. So he's been making himself look weak just by saying these things. And then, like Deontay always tell about speak it, believe it, receive it. Well, you can speak shit into existence in yourself in a negative or positive way. And if you're telling yourself, oh, this guy's going to be difficult. Oh, this person, I don't know, is going to be. You understand what they bring to the table. You don't have to lie to yourself. You don't have to sit here and try to pretend like this guy is a bum. No. But you have to understand, this is a fight. This is a scrap. Like you always say, I like a proper scrap. Okay, well, that's what you have to go ahead and do. You can't go in there and try to beat this guy at his own game. You have to stick to what you do. Thomas Hearns, I've said this before, he wasn't a better boxer than Sugar Ray Leonard. But he knew he hit hard enough to hurt Ray. He hit hard enough to knock Ray the fuck out. So he's not going to go in there and try to outbox him the way he know. Stick to what I do. I'm sticking behind his jab. Everything is coming off this jab. When I hit him, I'm swinging hard, high and low. And I'm going to try to push him back. That's what he went there and did. And he was he was outscoring Ray. Working behind that stick. You watch the fight, the whole fight. He's working behind that stick. And everything he was throwing, Ray know, all right, I don't want to get hit with that shit. Ray could punch too, though. And, Angelo Dundee got this. Yeah, you're blowing it, kid. Sugar Ray decided, you know what? That shit lit a fire under his ass. And he came out there and he did what he had to do. And he got Hearns the fuck up out of it. What do people say about that fight? It's one of the greatest fights of all time. Anthony Joshua has to understand, to be amongst the elite, you have to be able to compete with them. So even if you lose, people saying, yo, them motherfuckers fought. Not this motherfucker went there and froze like a deer in headlights, man. Man, look how big this motherfucker. And that is because when they're saying that, because you went in there and you choked. So that's all it is, people. You got to understand. I mean, what more is it to say? What more is it to say, man? Have a game plan, stick to it, and always have a plan B and plan C. Especially when you playing a guy or fighting a guy that's a better chess player than you, because you move all over that board. You know, it's a different. You know, just because you great at dominoes don't mean that you good at spades, man. It's simple. Just because you good at checkers, man, it you know, it doesn't make you good at chess. So you got to understand, stick to what your strengths are. What are your natural gifts? That's what you have to do. All right. You wouldn't see somebody 6'1" trying to play center position in the NBA, now would you? But you have seen a 6'9" Magic Johnson playing point guard. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to do what you can do. It's not about what people are thinking. It's no, let me understand what I need to do. We're going to work on that. But you got to have the heart and the self-belief. That's all I'm going to say on that. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.